We condemn the inhumane situation in Gaza is the title of the UCLU referendum held to decide what action, if any, UCLU will take in light of the ongoing situation in that region. It is Thursday, the 13th of December. We're here to find out if UCL students will be voting.
Yes, probably. Probably I could vote, yeah.
I think I will, yeah.
I will be voting, yeah.
I was going to vote yes. But now I'm not so sure anymore.
Okay, and why is that?
Because some friend of mine told me about some fine print involved, which essentially stated that the Gaza referendum is not the only thing we're voting on, and that the fine print stated that we're getting back on the previous referendum as well, which stated that UCL has to be neutral on political issues. And so apparently the union wants to revoke that, is hoping to revoke that by getting us to vote yes on Gaza. So now I will either not vote or vote no, because of that fine print.
I think UCL Union should really kind of stay out of politics. I think it should kind of just be rather more opinion. It's nice to know what people's opinions are rather than actually getting involved in politics. I think
it should be pro-Palestine or it should be anti-Palestine. I think it should have a forum where people can air their views on the matter, as opposed to saying this is the issue and we're going to take that view. I don't think that's right.
The way our referenda work is that we either have adopting the policy of the referendum or staying in the status quo. Now, if you don't think we should, so it's not asking to pick a side, it's saying, do you want this or do you want to be back where we were? So with that being the case, I think that people have the very clear opportunity that if they don't think this is a decision we should be making, they vote no.
I think that the actions are really not going to do much. I mean, I'm sure Israel are not really going to care about what students in UCL think. That's my opinion anyway. But I do agree with condemning Israel.
UCLU being a neutral body to now having a political stance.
That's not true. I think that's not true what you just said.
That's the rhetoric from the No campaign.
That is the rhetoric from the No campaign, for which we need to be very careful as to what they're saying and dissect what they're trying to say. What is happening now is Q3, which really more people voted no or abstained on Q3 than they voted yes. It was so confusingly worded. What it did in reality, and the situation we have now, is that at UCL you have council and you have forums, open forums, including the International Students Forum, and none of those bodies are able to discuss or vote on international issues. So from ski trips to EU legislation on student Erasmus, to anything like that, any international issues cannot be discussed at democratic bodies within UCL.
So what currently happens is, if the union is going to take a stance on a controversial or international issue, then the whole student body will get the chance to vote on it, either at a members' meeting or at referendum, as is happening at the moment. The only reason for that is because Motion 3 passed last year. If it didn't pass, this referendum wouldn't even be taking place.
The referendum is to find out what UCLU's position is. We had a motion which any student can submit, come to council, and proposed to be put as a referendum to the students, and council voted to have a referendum, which I think is a good decision, because to be an active democracy we should be encouraging any student to bring a question to their peers, and yes, that's what's happening now. So there is no position. I've tried to make it as bland and as in one direction, non-biased post as I can. So yeah, we don't have a position. That's the whole point of we're facilitating a decision being made.